Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. Back after a pre-season break. I've made 2 signings, which is 2 more than Spurs have made in the last couple of weeks. Brad, how you doing, Brad?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. About to turn on to football talk after watching England's great win in the final Test match.
Excellent. And Jens, how you doing, buddy?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, I was very impressed with the Ashes as well. I have to say I don't watch a lot of cricket. But the Ashes always, because when I was working in hotels in London, there are always a lot of Australians.
Excellent. 2 great guests. You know them from streams anyway. They've got their own streams and own channels as well. They're in the description, but they will let you know where you can find them and what to expect later on. Right, so let's upset the 2 guests and talk about Tottenham. Harry Kane. This situation is just... not out of control, but I can see this is going to be a Berbatov situation again. Oh, before I forget, I haven't done this for 2 months. I said I'd forget stuff. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Notification bell. Comments, questions, all that stuff into the chat. Really, really appreciate it. We've recently gone over 300 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. Let's get to 400. Right, Harry Kane situation. Brad, this for me is screaming out of a Berbatov situation. Last second, with no time to replace him, he goes for a big fee. Levy gets a big paycheck. We lose one of our best player. Who replaces him? Who knows? We've got a defensive issue as well. We haven't sorted any of them out. We'll talk about that later. But the Kane situation. What do you make of it all? Should Kane be coming out and saying, I want this, I want that? Should Spurs be saying, you've got a week to decide, otherwise we'll decide for you? A Bayern low-balling us again? This is slightly different to the City situation in the fact that he's only got 1 year left. But what do you make of the Kane situation?
I think from what I've heard from reputable people is that he's actually open to all possibilities. So if Daniel Levy accepts a bid, he's off to Bayern Munich. If Daniel Levy turns down a bid, he's staying at Spurs. Because if you look at it from Kane's point of view, everyone's going, oh, why don't you sign a contract? Well, no, why should he? Why not wait until 6 months down the track when he can go wherever he wants? And I think I always thought that the situation with Daniel Levy was that he'd always said that he was never going to have another Sol Campbell situation where he's losing a player for free. I personally would keep Kane because I think he's worth more to this club in a season than he would be the money he would get for him. But I don't think Daniel Levy
go to a Premier League club.
Yeah, I don't think Daniel Levy will do that. I think Daniel Levy will see the dollar sign, and if the price is right, he'll say yeah. I think that he might have a situation with add-ons, that sort of thing. Could be based on Kane winning stuff, but and as for who replaces him, I don't think that's as much as a problem as we might think it is. For the simple reason is that I think if Richarlison has a full season as a centre forward, and he's probably more suited to that role under Postecoglou than Kane is. You've also got Sonny who chips in the goals, and I think you'll see more players scoring the goals this season. You've got Maddison, players like that. Whereas in the past, it's been Harry Kane has done all the goal scoring. And you only have to look to a season, I think it was the 2017 season, where we had Son, Eriksson, Kane and Dele Alli all scoring over 20 goals. So I don't think it's obviously, I'd rather have Kane in the team. Obviously, he's a world-class centre forward. But I don't think it's as much of an issue as we might think it might be. That said, we all know, and we'll probably talk about this a bit later, we've got other issues that we really need to address.
I mean, I agree with you. I think Richarlison will prove quite a lot of people wrong next season. And hopefully I'm right. Be a year late for you, Brad, and your bet if he gets over 6 goals. But
there's talk of it happening again. I don't know where I was debate this time, though.
But Jens, where do you see this going? I was watching Sky Sports before I came on. Apparently, they're 20 million apart in the valuation. Talk of a buyback from Kane after a year, 2, 3, whatever. In terms of him staying and then leaving for free, that obviously puts a risk up that he can go to a Chelsea or Man United or someone else that can cause us problems the next season. Whereas, let's face it, we ain't playing Bayern Munich for a long, long time yet. Where do you see the Kane situation going, what would you prefer to happen?
That's a very good question. I think even if we do get a decent whack for him, look what happened when we sold Gareth Bale and the so-called Magnificent Seven. who actually turned out good from that? That was
Ericsson. That's it, isn't it?
And I'd say I always liked Chadley. I thought he came up with a few good goals, but Paulinho, Kiriches, I think we really. It seems that Mr. Levy just wants to do a deal, doesn't he? He doesn't want to pay full whack for a player. If he sees someone who's in their last year of the contract and the club is willing to deal, he's like, oh, I could just spend 20 million there instead of having to pay the full whack of 40 million. Yeah, but where does he fit in? Where do the players fit in if it's not someone we need? The defence is something that is seriously worrying me.
Yeah, I will get onto that later, but I cannot believe we're still talking about the defence now and it hasn't been rectified. When anyone with half a footballing brain, I'm talking about myself there, not the two guests, can see that a mile off.
Yeah. As Brad said, I think in regards to goal scoring, I don't think it'll be a problem, especially with the way the Postecoglou sets up his teams. It's attack, and we know that our forward line can score. Maybe I'm a little bit worried about Kulusevski. He had an absolute stinker last season, and I know it's only pre-season, but he hasn't looked on the money either. But then again, neither
pre-season. I know it's pre-season, but you know, trying to take people on and trying to be positive. Whereas under Conte, maybe be more defensively minded, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited about Maddison.
Oh yes,
I think we're going to see a few goals from him, and I think we're going to see some nice play from him. I have to say, all the stuff when he was younger, apparently he was a bit leery, but
who isn't?
Yes, yeah, that's true. But having seen him in the some of the interviews that he's done, he looks genuinely chuffed to be here.
Yeah,
and I think he's grown up a little bit. And I think we're gonna see something special from him.
Yeah, Gareth in the chat, how you doing, buddy? Hey, babes, back to you. And you did say, see you first. You are right. He's on Harry Scarf's channel later on as well, so make sure you check that out. Brad, Maddison for me is crucial in so many ways, not just because, like Jens says, he'll score goals, but if you see interviews from Son recently, he said he's back to playing how he used to play on the wing. And the issue previously, unless Harry Kane drops deep, he's got no one to ping him a ball 50 yards. When he was under that season you mentioned where 4 players got over 20 goals, he had Ericsson then pinging him the ball for 50 yards to his feet, one-on-one with a defender, skins him because it's Son and that's what he does. All of a sudden, game opens up and then there's space. So I think Maddison being signed is brilliant because we've got that playmaker, but it's going to open up so much for other players. And like Jens says, Kulusevski, he can give him the ball quickly. And we've seen him with, even though he hasn't got the pace that Son has, he can skin players. Solomon has looked quite good in pre-season as well in terms of going forward and trying to make things happen. But how important could Maddison be, do you think?
I think very important because we haven't had a player like that since Ericsson. You know, that's how ridiculous the whole situation is or was. But I think he'll be able to, as you say, put the passes through, whether that be Kane, Son, Richarlison, whoever. He's a decent free kick taker, and he'll score his fair share of goals. And when you look at the potential midfield, now Basuma's been playing pretty well.
He did get injured though, didn't he? I'm not sure how long for.
I don't know, but
yeah, he got
fit Basuma, Maddison, and then once Bentancur comes back, and that's not a bad midfield. And even if you look at the players coming in at the moment, I mean, you look at the pre-season, you've had players like Lo Celso who could be a decent player, you know, under Ange's system. And then you look at the forward line of with Kane in it, Kane, Son, Kulusevski, or Richarlison, Son, Kulusevski, or whoever it might be. As you say, Solomon's been playing pretty well. You know, we look reasonably good up front. It's just, you know, it's the defence, as always.
Yeah. I mean, Gareth goes on, when, not if, is Kane leaving this window? Just been talking about it. I've got a horrible feeling it's a Berbatov situation, like I said, last second with no chance to replace him. But your thoughts on Ange so far, Jens?
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's just a breath of fresh air. Just says what he thinks without, And he seems, like you said with Maddison, to me, he seems genuinely excited to be here. Feels like he's got a bit to prove. And 37 shots on goal against Salt Lion Sailors or whatever their name is. And
Lion City Sailors.
That's it. Apologies for anyone of their team watching. And 31 against West Ham. That's 68 in 2 games. We probably struggled to get that in about half the season last season. So we're going to score goals. We're going to attack teams. We'll come to the defence a bit later on. But I think possibly the reason you're seeing some of those players play quite well is because they're allowed to express themselves going forward, which possibly they were a bit stifled on under Conte and Jose and Nuno. But yeah, what do you think of him so far? I love his press conferences and just his kind of aura, and players seem to like him.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the players that we have, they're not used to playing Conte football. They're not used to playing Mourinho football. They want to attack, whereas they were kind of the managers were holding on to their reins and saying no. It was like reminded me a little bit of what Jack Santini said. I don't want my fullbacks getting over the halfway line. I'm sorry that doesn't work these days. I think that's dinosaur football for me now. I'm very excited about the guy. He speaks his mind. I mean, obviously Conte and Mourinho do as well, but he seems very positive. And one of the big things for me as well is it doesn't seem like he thinks that he's doing us a favour of being here, whereas the last 2 managers did. So I'm really looking forward to it. I have to say, when I first heard about the link, I was like, okay. And you guys know Ian Meth, don't you?
Yeah.
And he's a
Celtic. Lyrical about him, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah. He's a Celtic fan as well. Lives up in Glasgow. So he knows a fair bit about him, and he was saying how brilliant he was. And yeah, I mean, with the jury's still out, obviously, because the season hasn't started yet. And we do look short on manpower in that defence. But I think we're going to see it's going to be a bit like Aussie Ardiles football, isn't it? And I always enjoyed that. So
we're certainly going to be entertained, Brad, unlike large parts of last season. But one of my favourite bits that he said in the press conference, I can't remember exactly, so I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "We're all going on the journey. Some people try and derail it. It won't be for long because I won't allow it." So, like Jens says, you've got Conte who speaks his mind, but Conte speaking his mind and Jose speaking their mind always seemed like they were speaking their mind and wanting an argument. Whereas this guy speaks his mind, but in a kind of funny way and a kind of relaxed way that you wouldn't mess with him, but he doesn't seem to be just saying stuff to have a fight. What do you think of him so far? And are you looking forward to the season, or are you kind of worried about the defence as well, or are you just looking forward to being entertained?
Well, start off with, I lived in Australia for 20 odd years, and he's just typical Australian. All right, he was born in Greece, but he went over to Australia when he was 5. He's just typical Australian, and he's just got no fear, does things how he wants to do. And you only have to look at the 2 teams that played good attacking football last season, one of them being Man City. And I think his system is similar to that Manchester City system. So if we can get that working, I think it's going to. I'm not so sure this season.
Yeah.
I think because at the moment I've described it as a cult. It's like we've been in this defensive mindset for 2 or 3 seasons now. It's like deprogramming people from a cult to get to play attacking football. But you've only got to look at the Romero interview where he said that there was a bit of a split, with Conte and the players, and now they all enjoyed it because they're all playing attacking football. Yeah. I mean, you only have to look at the change of Basuma. Yeah, Basuma was like, he's not ready. He's not good defensively. Didn't get a game, and now looks like he's going to be the linchpin of our midfield.
Yeah. So thank God. Yeah. When we signed Basuma, I was so chuffed because for me, he can do everything in midfield, and not bit part everything, but everything really well. And last season, like you say, we just didn't see a bit of it.
The caveat is that, and Jans was talking about Ian Meth, and he'll know this, is that he always starts slowly because he's got to get the players used to how he wants to play and do it without thinking. Because at the moment, I'm sure they're saying, where have I got to be? Where have I got to be when he's, once they start doing it without even thinking about it, then you'll start to see some results. And I'm hoping, I think the season will start reasonably slowly. I think we'll win games, we'll lose games. Whether we get new defenders or not, I think that's just the way it's going to be. But I'm hoping that by the time we get to, say, the FA Cup third round, the players are starting to play the system and know the system. So I'm hoping, and again, it's always the luck of the draw. You get a good cup draw, a good cup run. I'm hoping that we might have some success in the FA Cup and the League Cup for that matter. But I think that might be too early if we get a hard game in the first round sort of thing. But I think we've just got to be patient, and this not only goes for the supporters, but it also goes for the board. If they start losing, a trigger happy board alike. So I'm hoping that. I think it'll be a slow start. I'm not expecting any big things league-wise, but I certainly think maybe a cup run would be good. And also we haven't got Europe to concentrate on. And I think if he achieves, say, a European, I think probably the best we could hope for this season is a European place, say Europa League. I think that's probably the best we'll get. But we go back to Pochettino. It took Pochettino a while to get the team playing how he played. I always remember we beat, I think it was Everton 2-0 at White Hart Lane. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it's during the season. I always remember the commentators saying, they're now starting to play the way Pochettino wants them to play with the pressing, the top pressing, that sort of thing. And I think it would be much the same with Ange. I think it'd be the same that it will take them time to get used to that way of playing. But I think once it starts to click, I think we could do well.
Yeah, well, I think going forward, we're seeing some changes there. And after the West Ham game, Jens, another thing he said wonderfully in the press conference was he got asked, obviously, we conceded 3 goals, a couple from set pieces. And he said, we've been focusing on the shape and going forward, the defending and set pieces will come next. So breath of fresh air again. Conte is a wonderful manager. You don't get the CV that he has without being a wonderful manager. But he never took responsibility for things going wrong. It's always the players. Whereas Ange, first press conference there after a game, I know. I haven't done it yet. It will happen. And focusing on the shape, the going forward, that's how you win a game of football, scoring goals. And I love that.
His press conferences this season will be something to look forward to, I think. I mean, I think it's in Singapore. He said, before we start, has anyone got any party pieces to like to do? So, I think he's just got that sort of really good, sort of just a very Australian sense of humour. And I think someone described him, I think Alistair Gold was saying, talking to people around the club, that he can have a go at you without being rude. So he's very good at getting a point across and that sort of thing. So and I saw a bit of Ramon Vega last night on one of the shows, and he was full of praise for him because he was obviously at Celtic at the time, and he was full of praise. Yeah,
I mean, Jens, I don't really know what the question is. That isn't something, because I haven't done it for 2 months. I've always done that, but do you think we're starting to say, I know it's only been 2 pre-season games, and one was against West Ham, which are a good team, but again, it's really early days after pre-season. The other team is against the pub team. We've got a few tough games. We've got Barcelona and Shakhtar, and there's one in between. Can't remember who that is. But are you seeing any changes in the way that we're playing, or is it still too early and it's just pre-season and everyone's attacking because they're trying to get fitness up?
Well, I suppose you could say that is they're both the same thing. Is that, as you say, we're attacking, and that's just what I like to see. That's the Tottenham that I've been used to ever since I started supporting them back in the 80s. We were always on the front foot. All of those famous quotes by Bill Nick, it's what was it? We're here to entertain people and not bore the pants off them for 90 minutes. That's a bit. That wasn't exactly what he said, but you get the drift. And we've already won a cup. Tiger Cup winners, you'll never sing that. So it's, I'm happy. I am. as I'm sure I will repeat through the rest of the show, I'm worried about the defence. I'm worried about the central defenders.
Well, let's talk about that now.
Okay. Yeah.
No new centre-backs at all. We're going to get Longley. We know that. We're going to get him as a last resort at the end. And that doesn't solve anything because we have the same defence we had last season. Yeah. I cannot believe we've been linked. I follow Fabrizio Romano. For me, if he says something's happening, then it's happening. We were in for Tapsoba, Van der Ven, tossed in as well, but not as much. All of a sudden gone completely quiet. We're not talking to them anymore. The Kane situation is obviously detracting from that as well because we're focusing on that. But Levy said before the season started, we're going to focus on the close season, sorting out and essentially getting a team fit to fight. And it happens every time, doesn't it? Maddison, new goalkeeper. We'll talk about the new goalkeeper, but it is a new goalkeeper. And Maddison, superb signing, like we've said. It all looks so promising. Harry Winks going out as well. Ooh, maybe the deadwood and the people we don't want are going out. And then it's just completely bloody stalled. How we haven't got any central defenders. I mean, we don't know. Ange could get a tune out of those defenders. I very much doubt it. Wes Morgan, when they Leicester won the league, terrible defender. We've got Brian joining in. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good.
Hey,
Brian. How you doing, Brad? How you doing, Jens? And how you doing, Chris?
Not too bad.
Good.
But yeah. Wes Morgan, terrible defender. Van Yerby got a tune out of him, won the league. I don't think Eric Dier is that level. We haven't signed anybody. The only person we've changed is Lloris. And I just cannot believe we haven't signed a defender. Like I say, Ange could get a tune out of them. I very much doubt the only one there is Romero. But to do that, you have to stop him doing three people's jobs.
Yep.
Do you think we'll sign? I mean, there's still time left, isn't there? There's a month left. But I was hoping we'd have the defence in like we had Maddison go on the whole pre-season. Do you think we'll sign defenders? Who will we get? My money's on Longley, cheap. But then it's just a complete waste of time. But defensive situation, Jens.
I think it's crazy. What were they saying? I think I saw on Twitter the other day. Since 2016-17 season, we have signed 3 centre backs. And then you look at Chelsea, you look at Arsenal. They're at least in double figures. It's just. Then something that I heard the other day, I don't know how true it is, but apparently it's from a ex-Tottenham employee, is that they don't want to spend big money on centre-backs because you don't, obviously Ledley King apart, you don't get a lot of money out of shirt sales and stuff like that.
Surely not.
I was
tell Liverpool with Van Dijk that. I bet he sells loads.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But that apparently was some of the reasons, or one of the reasons, and I find it amazing how he thinks that Davis, Dier, and Romero are going to be good enough as our centre backs this season. Tanganga, love the bloke, but the injuries are taking it out of him. I don't think he's got a future with us. No. But even the 3 guys that we've been linked with, Phillips, Tapsoba, and Van der Ven, I've heard that Phillips and Van der Ven are still very, very raw.
Phillips is one for the future, isn't it? It wouldn't surprise me if we do get him back on loan at Blackburn. Van der Ven we're obviously getting because he's quick, so is Usain Bolt, but I wouldn't want him in our defence. I don't think defensively. Tapsoba is the one I want.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's died a death for some reason when it was all go. But
I'll tell you the reason it died, Chris. I'll tell you the reason it died. We have, and I'm being serious here, we have a player that we've wanted for a couple of months. We've been scouting, which, let's face it, it takes 10 years for Tottenham to scout a player, then finally buy them. So Cameo is very close to signing. But we have personal terms done. We have everything done. We do our normal thing where we have to haggle over every single little thing and try and do that. Then Aston Villa want a player from the same club. There you go, DRB. there you go. How much money do you want?
Torres you're talking about, right?
No, Dier.
Dier, winger.
Dier has come from Bayer Leverkusen, which is where Tapsoba is. So so Aston Villa wanted that player. Unai Emery wanted that player. They got the European football. They back Unai Emery. You want that player? All right, let's just have a little negotiation. Within 4 deals, within 4 days, that deal's done. 40 million, 50 million in their bank. Do you need to sell so badly anymore?
Exactly.
Do you need to sell one of your star assets? No, because we've been haffing about trying to save £3.60 or something.
Yeah, I think everyone's got a price, Brad, haven't they? So I think if we did bid what they wanted, we'd have him. But
it's shocking, that, isn't it?
Mark Swift, make do FC. That's who we are.
Well,
how you doing, Mark?
It's been the same over the ENIC reign, isn't it? You know, the players that we wanted, you know, we've gone for the cheaper option. You know, I mean, look at Joe Rodon. And the thing about Joe Rodon was he's hardly played. No. You know, we went to Skriniar and went for Joe Rodon. And with this one, obviously, Tapsoba seems to be the player that everyone seems to say is the best of the three. Yeah. But, you know, we're just haggling over the price. I mean, it's down to Levy's ego. And it's almost like he's oblivious to the whole thing. It's almost like he doesn't see any of this stuff going on. You know, it's like it's a game of Football Manager for him. It's
I mean,
crazy,
to be perfectly honest, he's got bigger problems, isn't he? His buddy Joe being in the slammer soon, and then he doesn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's another thing to talk about. I won't give you my opinion on billionaires, but
well, we're talking about it a bit later, so you're going to have to.
Okay, all right. Well, no, I will then. But no, it's the same thing. Look, we don't. As long as the defender can fit in with Ange's system, and Ange wants him, we don't even have to go for a superstar player. No. We just need to get a reliable centre half. As I said to you, I'm not saying Michael Dawson would be able to do that role, but if you look at the defenders we've had, Michael Dawson was a reliable centre half. Didn't make many errors. Well, not the best in the world, not the worst in the world.
And he was a leader as well. That's what we're lacking.
We've had centre halves like Eric Dier that can be brilliant one day and absolutely rubbish the next day. And you don't want that. You want someone reliable. Yeah. So it's not like we have to go and buy a superstar defender, just someone who's half decent that can be reliable. And we've looked at this Custoba, whatever his name is, and I think Van der Vel will be if we got the two of them, he'd be the one that would be sort of missing out on the games and that. But it's the same all the time. We just need a reliable defender there, and I know what's going to happen. We're going to get a defender. It's going to be right at the end of the transfer window. It'd be too late. We've lost games through defensive errors whatsoever, and we're playing catch up again. You know, it's crazy. And if they're waiting, and I know a bit about accounts and that sort of thing. You know, we made 400 million in revenue, but we still made a loss, profit and loss. We've still made a loss. I want to know how that happens. You know, it's crazy. You know, this is the stadium was supposed to be the thing that changed everything, and you know, it's changed nothing so far. Yeah. You know, so I'm at a loss. I really am. I'm sure Brian's got a lot more to say about it than me. But
just before we get on to Brian, just one comment in here. Aglaia. Hi lads, Chris, Brian, Brad, RB, big up our club. We don't need the Kane money in, but we don't get any defenders over the line because Levy is crap at negotiations because he's too tight. I've probably taken the words out of Brian's mouth there, but Brian, defenders, which defenders do you think will get in? And just because we spoke about it earlier, what do you make of this Kane situation where it end? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think it's a Berbatov situation waiting to happen last second. He goes for big money. Can't get him replaced. But yeah, defenders and the Kane situation. What were your thoughts on those?
First of all, big up to Ellie. I got your messages. I'll respond to them later on this evening or tomorrow, Ellie. Harry Kane, the deal just needs to get done now. He is going to Bayern Munich. The sooner people, or not even people, this club just let it happen and get it done because we need to move on. I don't want to see him go. I do not want to see it. But it leads on to what I'm hearing is we're waiting for the Kane money to come in so we can buy defenders. And I'm like, oh, so those concerts, boxing, match day revenue, NFL, everything that's not big up, brother Terry. So it's just a sham. It's just a shambles. Harry Kane, love him to death, legend, top goal scorer. I'm lucky enough to say I was there the moment he put the ball in the back of the net. I'm lucky to say I was alive to see that record being broken. Obviously, Jimmy was before my time. That will never be able to be taken away from me. And some of the things I've seen Harry Kane do. But he's given us 10 years wonderful service. Met all his goals. You got to remember, what did he say all the time? Match my ambitions, I stay at this football club. Match my ambitions, I stay at this football club. I was just on Savage Show a little bit earlier, and he was saying, we worked it out that Sanchez, Dier, Davies together have played almost 1,000 times for Tottenham Hotspur. 1,000 times for this football club. I think there was one more player in it as well, but they were all over 200s. This just goes to show how bad we are. How bad we are. I think Jens alluded to it as well with Simeon's text, where he said, it's all well and good, me and fellow Levy Outers that do all we do, shouting from the rooftops or putting our point across like this. But what Simeon did when he put that tweet out with no smoke and mirrors, no hashtag Levy out, no mucking about. Here you go. Here's the facts. As Jens said, when you look at it and say, since 2019, the only defenders we have signed, or however it's longer than 2019, we brought in Davinson Sanchez for £42.5 million. Bet that one's sinking. Christian Romero, Joe Rodon, and Clement Longap on loan.
Now, will be coming for a fee of about £5 million in the next month. It's the way it's going.
I've already said if that guy comes in, Tottenham on tour are going to go live for about 5-6 hours with me and Ben just screaming to anyone that's watching us. Like literally, we're Clement. I started calling Clement Longley, Clement Longap last season, as Brad will know. I kept saying so we bought him in as the stopgap to scout our alternatives, and we scouted a player that we had and was all in all heavily featured in our worst defensive Premiership goals conceded in our Premier League history. When we bought him, or loaned him, should I say, we got told he could only play in the back three. He's useless in the back two. So now we have a manager that's going to play a centre back two, and someone wants to bring him in, and that's his worst position. If he comes in, as Antonio Conte said, club signing.
It'll be because it's cheap, won't it? It'll be about 40-odd million cheaper than Tapsoba, which then works for...
Well, he's the only man I know, Chris. He's actually gone to Barca and said, you know what? You want him out, but he doesn't feature in your plans. He's got 1 year on his contract. Can you just give him to us? He's trying to get a free transfer out of a contracted player. This isn't even a joke. This is seriously what he is trying to do right now. This is what we have as an owner of a football club. How you can neglect the defence for as long as it's been done. In the way, I don't know if you heard, Chris, I put a tweet out, I've been saying it on stream. You look at it, when you start having a leaky roof, you get a little pan out or a pot out from the kitchen and you just let it fill up. But then as it gets worse, you have to change to a bucket. And then when it comes out, you have to go get another pan and another bucket. That's Tottenham with their defenders. What you go and do is you pay a roofer to fix the bloody roof and stop the leak. But no, we just have all these pots around us. And we are, here we are. We go into August tomorrow, no defenders. Our striker, our star, our captain, England's captain, our greatest goal scorer wants out. And we have these idiots that say, oh, but the window goes closed till September the 1st. Well, you have pre-season training for a reason. We don't all get a brand new job and they go training 5 weeks and you go, oh, don't worry, I've been doing this all my life. I'll turn up at Brentford.
Yeah, that's what I wanted the defenders in pre-season. I know there's still a month left, but then you're losing a month of the season minimum by them learning the system. A couple of comments from Mark Swift here. Here, Levy wants a buyback clause for Kane. I heard something like that. I heard it was kind of first refusal. Terry Wright, someone needs to remind Levy that Kane will have zero value next summer. Tottenham leak Spur. Terry, the club loves Dier. I honestly don't think they believe centre-back is a huge problem. Although Ant has said we need a defender, and we hopefully will get a defender. But, I mean, with the whole Joe Lewis thing, if he's convicted, apparently Jay-Z is going to take us over. 99 problems, but buying players and getting them over the line is not one.
Could be worse. Could be Kanye West. Could be worse.
The whole Jay-Z thing is a load of nonsense. But 99 problems getting players over the line ain't one. But 2 players we have got over the line. Maddison, who we talked about, for me, terrific signing, will help us going forward and help people like Son, Kulu, and new goalkeeper Brad Vicario. Buffon said he's the next big thing. He didn't strike me with too much confidence against West Ham, but his first pre-season game. What do you make of him?
Because I'm working now, I didn't get a chance to see the 2 friendlies, so I haven't really got an opinion on him. All I will say is that if one of Italy's greatest keepers seems to like him, I'm not saying there was a tweet going out about he's going to be the best thing ever, which was just a load of rubbish, just a fake tweet. But from what I understand, Buffon and Dino Zoff say he's a decent keeper, so we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Again, we went for the cheaper option, but if he turns out to be really, really good, then fine, And to be fair, David Raya hasn't exactly gone to any other club, has he? So people aren't.
He's been linked with Arsenal now.
Yeah, but they've got they seem to have no keeper problems, have they? They got that.
Well, I don't know. Apparently, a lot of the Gooners don't like Ramsdale.
Yeah, nor do I.
But I thought he played quite well last season.
But as far as the goalkeeper is concerned, I really don't know. I'm going to be able to watch. I'm not going to Shakhtar Donetsk, but I'll be able to watch it on TV on the Spurs Play or whatever it's called. So, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Apparently, he's good around the dressing room. He fits it. Ange wants people that are good people as well as decent players, and he seems to fit that bill. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of him, Jens? I wanted Raya just because he's Premier League proven, but obviously £40 million for a player, 1 year left is quite a lot of money, but then it's also not that much money. Glowing references from people like Buffon against Vicario. He did make a wonderful save against West Ham, low and down. But again, he's kind of untested, and I mean, he's got Brian's buckets and pans as a defence in front of him at this moment in time. So who he's going to be very busy, isn't he? But at least we went out and got a goalkeeper. We knew there was a problem there. We need a new goalkeeper. We need a playmaker. Here's one of each. So I can't understand why we haven't got the defence. But anyway, but at least we've got a goalkeeper now who will be our number one. What do you make of him so far? Is it far, far too early to tell after 2 pre-season games?
I think it's definitely too early. But judging after those first 2 games, he did not fill me with confidence.
Yeah.
But I have to say, neither did Eric Torsvet when he first came in. And he was.
I thought you were going to talk. I thought you meant Eric Torsvet in pre-season games. I missed that one. When did he play against West Ham?
No, he didn't play. But I don't know if you remember his first game against Nottingham Forest. It was televised. Yeah. And he made a massive howler. And I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, Bobby Mims numbers Mark 2. But he turned out to be one of the best goalkeepers I've seen in the Spurs top. So I always like to give players a season to a season and a half, as long as they're trying. I'm sorry, after seeing Ndom Bailey for about 6 months, it was you could basically see that he wasn't really that interested.
Well, is he going to get another lease of life under Ange? He's been playing in pre-season. Is Ange going to?
I thought he'd been injured. I thought he'd been injured in pre-season.
No, that was him just not bothering. Do you think he'll be given a chance?
I think he'll give everybody a chance. He needs to, really, doesn't he? That's why he's taken such a large group of players away to play the Dog and Duck Singapore and West Ham. But it was. I think it's a real shame that the Leicester game was called off, because we really need that fitness. We really need.
I mean, people were having a go at Levy there. He obviously didn't make it rain, but when you go in the middle of rainy season, middle of monsoon season, exactly, to a country where the monsoon is to play a football game, it's obviously just done for money. So it was just stupid. It was always going to be possible, but I've just anyway. Divulging yet, but yeah, Brian, Vicario and Maddison, 2 signings. One of them for me, absolutely stunning. I love Maddison. Think he can be an absolute star. Vicario, jury's out on him, but like Jens, I'll give him a chance. Made that wonderful save against West Ham. Remains to be seen what happens, and he's got a leaky defence in front of him. But what do you make of the 2 signings? I mean, they're saying we've made 4 signings. One's Porro, one's Kulusevski. We've made 2. We haven't made 4. What do you make of those 2 signings?
And Solomon.
Oh, yes. 3. That's why I said that.
So, Joe, it's one of your magic tricks, mate. You just pulled Solomon out of the woodwork. So listen,
unfortunately, it's live, so I can't lie about it because it's been found out. I can't edit it. But anyway, we'll gloss on 3 signings, I mentioned.
James Maddison is a wonderful addition to this football club. Yeah. But it's just typical of our football club that he comes the season Harry Kane is going. Because you talk about the partnership that could have been, he will add much needed creativity, much needed set piece taker at long last. But this is the thing. Would we have got him if he hadn't been relegated and they wanted 60, 70 mil? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But do not get it twisted what I'm saying. He is a great signing for the football club. Great signing. He has all the talent, capabilities, attributes that we've been lacking. Covered. Just shame he won't have a 30-plus the season goal scorer record to help set him up. He's going to have to work extra hard to create better opportunities. Vicario, I really wanted Raya. I went absolutely ballistic. Funny, who would have thought I went ballistic when I heard Levy have pulled out the Raya deal?
You've changed.
I have. YouTube's changed me. I've become a lot more quieter and a lot more harder to read or crack my message I'm getting out there. I went nuts. I went absolutely nuts. But then I realised someone put a tweet. I was watching, I can't remember what it was on YouTube or a tweet I saw. And someone said, the typical Spurs fan, say that you want to change everything to data and everything like Brighton and find these no. But then when we go and do it, you start thinking, oh my God, who is he? He's cheap, he's crap, he's this, he's that. And I thought, do you know what? He's right. He's right. We can't keep going on that we need to have these. And I get that. So I took a step back. Would I have preferred Raya? 100%. 100%. Do I think Vicario will be a good goalkeeper? You don't have people like Buffon and Dino Soft who may know a little bit about goalkeeping. Say things about them. Obviously, that's their opinions. I think he will become good, but Joe would have been really good. His new defenders in front of him to learn how they play, so they know how to pass the ball back to him. They can get an understanding. For me, that triangle is probably the most vital triangle on the football pitch. Your goalkeeper and the 2 central defenders. So, do I think Vicario? Listen, like you said, he's had pots and pans to deal with. I mean, the defending for the Lions goal. I was on Twitter Space and watching it. I've never laughed so much in my life at that goal. I was crying. It was like Del Boy falling through the bar on Only Fools. I was just wetting myself. It's hysterical. West Ham 2-0 down in the first half. The defence is laughable. Manos Solomon is a very shrewd bit of business. He's very good. Listen, obviously, I for me, I'm very, very biased when it comes to Manos for obvious reasons. But he's direct, he's quick, he's he's got something. But I said as well, when that was done, I was like, do you know what? On my glimmer of hope, and when I say glimmer, I mean glimmer. That, do you know what? Maybe that's a shrewd bit of business, because maybe we did need backup for Son, or if Son goes in the centre or whatever. So maybe we're making that shrewd bit of business to use more money on defenders.
That's exactly what I thought at that time as well. Yep. Absolutely, exactly the same.
And this is the point where everyone was going, oh yeah, look, we're doing it again. We're going early. I was like, well, last time you said that, We brought 3 players in, and then it went all quiet. And then we started picking up bits and bits. Listen, it's carbon copy every single season.
Yeah.
Every single season, it's a new match. When we lost to Newcastle and all that, and then Scott Munn came in, everyone tells me, "Oh, look, Levy's finally got the message. He's gonna change now." I was like, "No, he ain't. He's just put another shield in front of him." Oh, we got him postecoglou. Everything's going to change now. Postecoglou takes no shit, which I am all for Postecoglou. I love him. I really, really am excited by him. It's good. This is all it is. It's just another. It's like a bookend he puts to say that's the end of this chapter. Now reset the clock and give me more time, and we'll go again until I do the same again. More needs to be done. Maddison, like I said, incredible, except the fact that he won't have his mate Kane to play with. But knowing our luck, he'll have his mate Maguire to play with. So at least it'll be friends reunited.
Another comment from Aglaire. We're such a disorganised club. One behind it all is Levy, who's failed our club for 21 out of 22 seasons. We go into the 23rd with the same defenders to protect Vicario. The poor sod. Bad. Winks is out, which makes the Maddison deal even better because essentially it was 30 million. Sanchez, maybe. He probably doesn't want to go to Russia at this moment in time. And Hojberg potentially as well, and Lo Celso as well. We'll talk about Lo Celso because he seems to have impressed in pre-season. I'd be a bit disappointed if Hojberg went. I think he's had a bit of a rough ride being that without Maddison there and Kane having to come deep, but Kane can't come deep constantly because he's a striker. Hojberg's having to be the player who breaks stuff up, having to be the player who gives it to other people, having to be the playmaker as well, and he's had to do 3 jobs. Whereas now with Maddison in, that's one of his jobs gone. And I like Hojberg. Like Jens said, as long as people try, I'll back him. Hojberg, to me, always seems to try. Winks has gone. I like Winks as well, being Spurs through and through, but he just wasn't good enough, so he had to go for his sake as well as ours. Sanchez, just an accident waiting to happen. I like Sanchez, but again, just not good enough. Whether he will go, obviously Russia is probably not the best place to move to. But who else will go, do you think? And do you think, although Daniel E has just said Sanchez has been linked with Forest at the moment, which probably wouldn't be a bad bit of business for them. But who do you think will go? Would you like to see them go? Or do you think we'll still be stuck with loan deals to get rid of
Well,
one who's been linked as well?
This is it. I mean, Sanchez, I think, looks on the cards. I mean, personally, if he doesn't want to go to Russia, I can't blame him. So nothing on him there. Winks is already gone. I think Roden will probably go. Yeah. Tanganga will probably go. But when I'm saying will probably go, whether they go this window or next window, who knows, or the loan. As far as Hojberg's concerned, I don't understand all the hate he seems to get from social media. I really don't. But if he seems to, if you believe what you read, seems to be quite up for a move. If that's the case, then fine. But we've got to get someone in who's just as good or better than him, to replace him. Which with so many weeks of the window to go, you can't really see that happening. So we could be one short, and we're going to have to be really careful because in the end of the year, we've got the African Cup of Nations. So you've got players like Basuma, Papa Matassa, who I think is going to be a really good player. We're going to be without those. So, if we get rid of Hojberg...
What about Udogi? Is he Italian?
He's Italian.
Yeah. So we need to, if Hojberg does go, we need to replace him with someone. And we're not leaving ourselves a lot of time to do that. As far as the other 2 players, Nondombele, I think the reason we didn't sell him was because I think Postecoglou actually did want to have a look at him, and he hasn't really had much of a chance. I think he might go. I think the surprise player might be Lo Celso. I think Postecoglou seems to like him and seems to think he can play in his system. So I think he might, unless Lo Celso wants out himself, I think maybe Lo Celso might be the surprise player that doesn't go. It's interesting you talk about, Daniel Levy being, trying to get the deals, bring players in. They got good sell-on values. So you got Sanchez, 42 million, could go for 9. Nondombele looks like he might go for 10 or 11. So it's ridiculous. But yeah, I think they will go. Whether it's this window or the next window, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we remember that tweet from June that's doing the rounds again, saying, "Oh, there's going to be lots of action. There's going to be lots of contracts torn up. Blah 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 blah."
Oh, Paul O'Keefe.
Was it Paul O'Keefe? Was it? Yeah. And well, have we seen that? No, we haven't. So, and I think the Winks thing. I think the Winks only got sold because it's part of the Maddison deal. I think even though it was technically it wasn't, but I think that was part of it.
As long as players go who need to go, I'm not really that fussed how they go or why they go. But Mark Swift would like to see Enoch go here, and Daniel E, who's behind these players. But Jens, Hojberg, Lo Celso, Ndombele, Sanchez, happy for them all to go, or do you think there'll be a few surprises on other players who go?
Well, again, like Brian's a bit biased with Solomon. I'm rather biased than Hojberg. Going back to last season, again reiterating what you two guys said, I could not believe the hatred he was getting. Now, I like Oliver Skipp. I think he tries hard.
Yeah, I do as well.
Skipp had a worse season than Hojberg did, but because he's homegrown, you hardly heard anything on social media. Whereas Hojberg, oh, look at that Viking, he's raising his arms again, he's doing this, he's doing that. I don't get the hatred. But if he wants to leave, then I don't think there's any point in keeping an unhappy player. No. But as Brad said, we need to replace him.
Yeah.
Lo Celso, I think everybody's getting a little bit too excited after 2 pre-season games. We saw what he was like when he first joined. Now, okay, he had a couple of injuries, but I can't. What game was that when
he dribbled it out?
When he dribbled it out.
Leeds.
Yeah, and he didn't look happy. Now, I don't know if that was something to do with the management at the time or if he was still had an injury. I'm definitely willing to give him a chance. But I think people shouldn't be too disappointed if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian? Because what I would say about Lo Celso, we've only seen him with negative coaches, whereas Ange looks like an attacking coach, and Lo Celso wants to go forward and make things happen. So I think he could flourish under this manager because he'll let him go forward rather than you have to stay here, you have to stay in this position, you've got to give the ball away rather than take the ball forward. And so what do you make of him and Hojberg in particular? And do you think anyone else will leave? Kane
let's do it. For me, Lo Celso is exactly what you said at the beginning. He was brought in by Poch to play attacking football. And then within months, off you go. And we're going to have ultra defensive managers, ultra strict managers that are more about not flair players expressing themselves, more about positions and tactics and being in the right space at the right. And he didn't like it. Jens mentioned the Leeds. There's also that wonderful corner against Everton in the 90th minute, which was just the worst corner I've ever seen in my entire life. But the thing is, when he goes to Spain, he does very well. When he goes to Argentina, he plays very, very well. And the way I've looked at it, he's been given 2 opportunities during this tour. All right, the Sailors, but West Ham, where it's like, okay, show me what you're made of. And he's taken that opportunity. He has looked like a different player. I'm still with Jens that could his attitude be a problem? This is 2 games. Maybe we are getting too excited too soon. But I think he's given himself till January to say, right, show us that you can do it. Because like Brad was saying with Hojberg, like Jens was saying, if he goes, we need to replace him. If Lo Celso goes, we need to replace him. That's getting away from the defenders. So we've got to listen. We can all moan, and I'm the chief of moaning when it comes to that prick about the money that we have or haven't got. But I'm talking about the way he's dealing with things and the way he is. We've got to assume we're not going to, if we sell this one and sell this one and sell this one and sell this one, quality replacements that are either on par or better aren't coming in because he won't spend the money. And then it goes down the road and you have to buy, like we said, the Brighton model, where I don't think we can get away with doing it so many times in one window. So the Celso, I think, has got an opportunity. It's whether he takes it. If it was keep him or Dembele, I'm keeping the Celso. Let's put it that way.
Daniel E has said Dembele can go. I'll take him there as well. What waste of over 60 million in wages as well, since he's cost us over 80 million pounds. He rectified that on another message. That's including the transfer fee.
Hojberg's my favourite player. I've been next to Alfie Devine. I think last season, at the end of the season, he started tailing off. Now, Hojberg gets a hell of a lot of criticism, but the one thing I always say with this is, mate, I'll tell you what, I want you to now go and play 180 odd games in a row for club and country, 90 minutes for most of them.
Yeah.
Have the mental exhaustion.
Exactly.
Of seeing his buddy have a heart attack and almost die on the pitch.
Exactly. If you look at that Spurs squad right here, right now, and you went round to every Spurs fan and said, who do you think will be play the most minutes or play the most games? I reckon over 90% would say Pierre-Emile Hojberg, just because they know this guy is a machine. Whether you agree with how he plays football, or people were saying he doesn't make enough forward passes. He was one of the most advanced passers in the Premier League, let alone Tottenham last. But there seems to be, like Jens said, this thing. Listen, do I think the second half of last season was his worst season or worst time here? Yes. But 2.5 seasons where he's been phenomenal and done his job. He's playing. We don't get, until Bentancur came, he didn't know who he was playing alongside with. Now it's like, who do you play along with? Is it Skipp, Sarr, blah, 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 last season? You can't keep going, right, you've got to do the job, you've got to do the job. But on that, I would say if the midfielders we might be selling, he's the one that will bring in the most money. But remember, every penny goes back into the squad, so that'll be good. That'll be good. So when Daniel Levy said it was 35 million, it was 3,500. They just put some zeros on by mistake, and you go, there you go. Go buy something for 3,500 in the club. Go buy your family a Skywalk pass for the week. Then we'll see. But you've also got to see: is there a more Diego Simeone player than Pierre-Emile Hojberg?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Fit into that like a glove, wouldn't he, in that team?
Yeah.
With,
my God, he'd be the midfield general. That would be, for him as a person, him as a mate, Champions League football regularly, going for the league regularly. That is the most Diego Simeone player you could possibly get.
Yeah, another player, I completely forgot about him. I have to say, Terry Wright's asked, Brad. Thoughts on Spence? I mean, for me, I'd keep him because if you're planning to play Pedro Porro as a right back, you've got a lot of problems, and we've already got problems in that defence because he's an attacking player, not a defensive player. Emerson, he did quite well at the end of last season, so I'd definitely be putting him as our first right back. But again, it could cause issues, but I'd definitely have Spence there to see how he does, but we haven't really heard anything about him.
I believe, Chris, he was touch and go for the tour because of an injury.
Right. Okay.
So, and he didn't play much. So maybe that's why. Yeah. I agree with you. I want to see him given the chance. You know, I think there's a player there.
Yeah,
whether he will hit it in the Premiership, we won't know until we try. And none of this is a club signing. Which is reason why Conte didn't play him. But so I hope he gets a go this season. But I do believe that he might be carrying an injury. So
right, okay.
I'm hearing a lot about his attitude. He doesn't have a very
that was
good
from
one.
last season we got that as well, didn't we?
Yeah. And someone was saying that they think that he was so good at Forest because Cooper, isn't it, Forest manager?
Yeah.
Wrapped him up in cotton wool. Was you were right, always put his arm around him, etc. What's he said? Postecoglou doesn't do that.
No.
And I don't. Yeah, if Spence does need to be the golden boy, I don't think he's going to last very long. No. But again, this is all just rumor. We don't know for sure. But anyway, I've got to head off now, Chris.
No worries. Yeah.
Thanks
so much for coming on.
Jens again.
Yeah, cheers.
And just before you go, RVTV, your channel.
Yes.
What can people expect? It's in the description as well.
We're on a bit of a summer hiatus at the moment, but we'll probably do something maybe this weekend or the weekend after, usually around about midday UK time, British summertime. The
rain's warmer.
Absolutely. So lovely to see you.
Thanks so much for coming on. And make sure you check out our RVTV, and cheers, Jens.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Okay, yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Yeah, make sure you check out our RVTV.
Chris, I need to pop as well. I made a commitment with Tottenham away, so I'm going to have to cut as well.
No worries. Thank you so much for
coming
again,
on, Brian. You'll have to catch up before you go back.
I'm going to go back in October.
Oh, okay. There's plenty of time.
I mean, everyone knows Tottenham on tour, but just let people know what they can expect in the coming weeks.
Well,
apart from you blowing up because we've signed Longley.
Yeah, no, do you know what I will talk about? Obviously, people know what they get with Tottenham on tour if they're here. On Sunday, if anyone is going to the Shakhtar Donetsk game, we've released it today, or I released a video yesterday on Tottenham on tour. We're protesting, but we're not protesting about transfers. We're not protesting going with the Levy out banners won't be there. This one is solely about match day prices. There's a lot of people that are going to this game from up and down the country on Sunday. Because of these ticket price increase, it's the only game they can afford to go to. And there's some people saying they won't be able to attend games. So we're trying to start the season in the right foot and protesting about something that isn't just solely about what they've done in the past and blah, 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 blah. This is inclusive for everyone. So we're going to be at the normal place opposite the club shop. Like I said, there won't be any Levy out banners. This is something completely different. We're not talking about transfers because last time, as you guys know, me, Ryan and Graham went outside the training ground for a month, started gaining momentum, and then he brought Kulusevski and Bentancur. So we're not talking about transfers to have our pants pulled down with Clement Longley. So we all get excited with Longley. We will be protesting. And tomorrow, not going to give any spoilers, tomorrow there could be a game changer with Levy out protesting. There could be a very big thing that breaks tomorrow. Not from me, not from us. Let's just say tomorrow could be a big, big day for Levy out. So keep an eye on Twitter, keep an eye on everything, because big news is coming probably in the morning. And on that note, I'll leave. Brad will definitely meet up. Chris, I'll definitely see you. Yeah. If anyone is going to the game, come and say hello. Whether you want to protest or not, come and say hello. We're a friendly bunch. As Brad will know, he's been there with us on many a time. So Chris, you popped over once, haven't you? Have you been outside and met me outside? Yeah, you have.
Not you outside. I came there the day that you were ill. I think the Palace game. I think
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. We met Mark Cousins on that day as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's right. But we'll sort it out, Chris. I'll see you before I go. Brad, we'll definitely see each other. And as always, Levy out.
Cheers, Brian. And,
okay, Brian.
Yeah, make sure you jump over to Tottenham on tour. Brad, just the two dedicated people left. Couple of comments from Terry. Better chance of health season over than Levy tearing up contracts. And he would rather sell Lo Celso, get Alex Scott. Not sure she'd join because she's doing quite well on punditry at the moment. Obviously, that's a joke. I can't remember where Alex Scott plays. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's somewhere in the channel.
Bristol City. Is it Bristol City?
That's it. Yeah. But again, that would be a kind of maybe not a cheap option, but unproven. Where I would give Lo Celso a chance. He seems to do quite well in pre-season. Postecoglou seems to like him. But look, like you said with Hojberg, or Jens said with Hojberg, if he wants to go, no point keeping someone who wants.
Yeah, doesn't Lo Celso play in a midfield three for Argentina as well? So
yeah. So
it'd be very similar, I guess.
And Brian's comments there: if you are at the game, not happy about the ticket price increase, go outside the shop and protest about that. Let's talk about that. I completely forgot about that. So this isn't season ticket prices. So for me, I've got a season ticket. If I sold every single ticket, I would end up making profit. So they've worded it in the fact that they're rewarding season ticket holders, but who buys a season ticket and then goes and sells them all for profit? It's just absolute lies. So, if I couldn't afford to go or didn't want to go, I wouldn't be getting a season ticket. So the ticket price increase, certainly in the financial environment we are in, is just, I mean, can't even say angry. It's almost disbelief that they're doing it, but nothing surprises me anymore. And we've seen ticket prices before, then a furore about it, and then they've reset that and not done it. But they seem to have put this through. I just don't understand how they can do that, especially after the season we had. We're getting rid of our best ever player, potentially best ever player, certainly in Premier League era. It's ridiculous.
I think it's absolutely disgraceful. There's no other way of saying. Some tickets have gone up by 20%.
Yeah,
the cost of living, inflation rates 10 or 11, 9. So and the other thing about this is that revenue from ticket sales, especially the general admission ones, don't really count for much of our revenue during the season. We get more revenue from TV rights, from if we had Champions League qualification, that sort of thing, from the concerts, we get more revenue from that.
And our new owner's wife performing.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. I don't see any reason for it in this. And as for saying, we're rewarding season ticket holders, rubbish, absolute rubbish.
I mean, you can reward me as a season ticket holder by dumping the price down by half. I'll take that reward.
Exactly.
Not rewarding me from the off chance that I can't go to a game.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and it's. I get on my left wing rant now. It's basically they're getting rid of the working class of football. That's basically what they're doing. The people that they're basically trying to attract the people. And to be fair, there'll be enough people that will buy the tickets.
Yeah,
they can afford the tickets, and that's what they're going for. I think, actually, But again, I can't see how it's justified with the extra money it will bring in. I don't think it'd be that. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it'd be that much. It's not like they have to. We've had increased costs, so we have to put prices up. If that had been the case,
I could maybe understand
they'd have put season ticket prices up.
Yeah,
we have 40,000 season ticket holders, whatever it is, So we're literally talking about, if you take away, say, the 3,000 that go to away fans, we're talking about 7,000 people.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. Well, on the bright side, my mate Steve, who you might have heard me mention a few times. He actually became a season ticket holder this season.
Right.
So he got in just at the right time before they put the prices up. So,
I mean,
crazy.
It's just.
And again,
I don't really understand the justification of how they can even justify or even try and. It's just crooks, isn't it? Really,
it's also the Tottenham PR machine at its best. They were doing all, I think when they announced it, they got the manager in, everyone seemed to like. They got a couple of players in. Everything's going really nicely. They've frozen season ticket prices. Oh, wow, they're doing okay. And then suddenly, they put the prices up of the tickets. It's just, I just don't understand it, especially in this day and age. It's, you're looking at a lot of money to take a family to the football. And let's face it, the Tottenham supporters of tomorrow are going to be the young kids that go with their parents to the games.
Yeah, like I say, I've got a season ticket, so it doesn't affect me. But then that doesn't mean that I'm not angry about it or that it's. I think it's right. It's disgraceful. But let's move on. Who's impressed you in pre-season? We've already talked about Lo Celso. I think he's probably the main kind of guy. Solomon has impressed me.
Solomon, it's Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Richarlison took certainly his third goal very, very well. And like you, if Kane does go, I don't think we'll buy anyone to replace him in terms of a number 9. I think he'll get the nod because he does it for Brazil, did it for Everton, and pretty much almost single-handedly kept them up playing as a striker when Calvert-Lewin was injured. So I think he'll go up top. Whether we'll buy anyone with the money forward-wise, I don't think we will. I think it will be defensive players. But again, I don't think there's going to be enough time because I think it's going to be a last-second thing when Bayern Munich go, well, we want him. They're not going to budge. Fine, here's the money. But yeah, who's impressed you? Because Brian did mention Alfie Devine. He's played a few games. I'd really like to see him get a run in the team in cups and come on for last half hour and just shadow someone like Maddison for the entire season at training. He'll learn so much from someone like Maddison.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen the games. I've seen.
And Udogie scored a goal. He looks quite good. He's
I've
not
seen
a new signing, but kind of a new signing because he was on loan last year.
The West Ham game and the Sailor City game, I saw the highlights, the 10-minute highlights.
I saw that, yeah.
The one game I did actually sit down to watch was the game in wherever it was, Malaysia, that got rained off, as did that weekend. Yeah, so my whole weekend was basically rained off. So I haven't had a chance to see them play as much as I'd like to. Yeah. But from what I hear, Lo Celso's done okay. I hear that Richarlison, I think, if you give him responsibility, which happened at Everton when he more or less single-handedly saved him from relegation. Yeah. If Kane does go, which is looking very likely, I think Richarlison could thrive under that responsibility. So, and I could be wrong. Did I hear someone say that actually Reguilon has looked okay going forward? Yeah.
But he's subject of, I think it's Real Sociedad who are after him. Yeah. But yeah, again, we've got Udogie, who for me would be the first choice left back. Perisic is still there, even though he said he wanted to kind of go. Sessegnon, I like Sessegnon, but again, not good enough. Too many injuries. For me, now, we have to get rid of him. Yeah, we have to get rid of him. So. Yeah. But then who's going to take him if for the price that Levy's going to?
Well, I've heard that Perisic in a more attacking role has played pretty well as well, but he looks like he wants to go as well. So
I mean, Ben Davies, I think Postecoglou said that he's a left back in his system, didn't he? Which
yeah. I mean, Ben Davies having the form he had during the Wembley season, which he did have a good season. If he plays like that and how he plays for Wales, sometimes he could be handy to have. As a player that can play left side of a centre back or as a left back. I'm not saying he should be first choice by any stretch of the imagination, but when it comes down to players like Sanchez, Dier, etc., I out of those three players, I'd keep Davies definitely. If you ask me to keep one of the three, I'd keep Davies.
He's fairly solid, isn't he? He's not spectacular, but he's fairly solid where everyone else makes mistakes. But yeah, I mean, Reguilon can't defend. Perisic, Hovo can't defend. So we've only really got Emerson, Udogie, Davies. I'm struggling to think of any full backs that we can utilise there who can defend, unless we're going to play, because his system is 4 at the back, isn't it? It's 2 central defenders, 2 wing backs. So you can't have, so you've got to have some kind of defensive stability with these full backs. Otherwise, you're left with 2 central defenders, unless one of the midfielders, like Dier did when he played in that midfield under Poch, when we don't have the ball, foregoes any attacking thoughts, and then slots in as a third centre back. But I'm struggling to think who that would be as well. So yeah. But yeah, Devine, hopefully he gets some game time. Udogie looks good. He took his goal very well. Lo Celso's obviously the one who's looked good. Solomon as well. But yeah, anyone else from you watching the highlights? Because I've only watched the highlights as well. I didn't watch the games. I don't know.
I think I saw that little bit of Solomon against the Sailors where he did a little jinky run. So that could be handy. But no, I haven't really seen enough to sort of make any sort of accurate comment on the players. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I presume, I'm thinking that Eric Dier didn't get a lot of game time because he's come back off an injury as well. Yeah. Be interesting to see whether Postecoglou might actually go with playing him as that defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, his turning circle now is like a tank. So that's an issue. It was... Before he had that, was it appendicitis or his appendix removed or something like that? Before that, he was quite mobile, and then after that, he's lost a lot of mobility. Which in that midfield role, when you're looking forward and then quickly got to turn, you need a better turning circle than that. So yeah, although maybe Eric Dier might have a new lease of. He's just got married as well, so he should be, the happiest he's ever been. So maybe there were things going on behind the scenes that you weren't happy about or stuff like that. Maybe the fitness because of the appendicitis or the worry about complications. So maybe he will be kind of like a different person, but I still maintain I don't think as a defender he's good enough.
Oh, no.
I'd love to be proven wrong under Postecoglou, but I don't think I will be.
I mean, if he did play that defensive role that he played under Pochettino, whereas he was that defensive midfielder, maybe that might work. But before social media goes mad, no, I'm not saying that if we sell Eric Dier, I'll be fine with that. It's not a problem, But But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, let's move on to Joseph Lewis. My God, I said last year when all of the Saudis were sniffing around clubs, I didn't want a Saudi taking over us because it's dirty money. But the only difference between them, and Joe Lewis is that he doesn't have human rights issues. It's all dirty money. Quite why a billionaire needs so much more money is shocking to me. 100 grand would do me. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with that. I would assume he's got the best lawyers money can buy, which no one can compete with, so he'll get let off. Or he'll get kind of compassionate stuff because he's an 86-year-old man. Be very interested as well to see if Daniel Levy, Donna Cullen, other senior figures at the club have benefited from this insider trading. I can't believe that in some way they haven't. But yeah, just one thing after when that came out, one thing after another with bloody Tottenham. It's like a laughing stock of a club.
Well, it does make you It does make you look back at last year where he transferred his control to that trust. I mean, at the time we all thought it was because he was getting on in age, which he is, but you do wonder whether that was because he had an inkling what was going to happen. But he's pleading not guilty, so I guess until the court case probably won't be heard for at least a year anyway. And the bond money, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, you can find 200 million for bond, but you can't." Well, that is basically it's literally a bond. It's a fight. It's an accounting transaction. No money actually moves. It's a bond that if he doesn't turn up to court, then he has to pay that money. So it's not that he suddenly found $300 million from somewhere to pay for it. So
I did see his bail set at 10 million, so Daniel Levy's offered 5 and Joe Rodon. That did make me laugh.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Look, it's billionaires to the core, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't understand how they need so much money. Surely, the interest that you make on $4 billion in whatever bank account you have it in is.
Well,
it's just silly. It's just, but they don't get to have 4 million without being greedy and.
I mean, there's stuff going on in South America as well, isn't there? Where he's got that big resort that he's got a problem with the local people there that they're accusing him of doing all sorts of nasty things. It's just billionaires. They're all the same as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look. You have to look what's happened to Twitter under Elon Musk. It's like. So all those people that say, "Oh, I hope Elon Musk takes over Tottenham." No, you don't.
I mean, Jay-Z would just be. If that was any truth in that, I just laughed when I read that. But if there was any truth in that, it would be a disaster because he would get bored within about 5 months.
Yeah, it's total rubbish. That was total rubbish.
But in terms of the Qataris, there's no different with in terms of like the money because they're dirty money. But I still wouldn't want the Qataris because of the human rights records. And I had a right go at Newcastle when they got taken over. So I can't then say, but it's all right if Tottenham have it. You've got to stay consistent with that. It was disgraceful that Newcastle were taken over by people with such human rights records. If Spurs got taken over with people like that, then it would be an equally big disgrace as well. And I would be pretty furious as well. But it's the way you've got to stay consistent.
It's the way football's going, though. You only have to.
Yeah, I mean, everything. Sport, golf, Formula One, football, everything.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, look at the PGA. All those golfers that said, "Oh, I'm not signing up to that." Yeah. And then the PGA caved in anyway. So
I do have a lot of respect for Mbappe. He could have easily gone and got ridiculous amounts of money for a year, but no.
Well,
I do have respect for him there.
that sort of money, it's look. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be rich. I'd love to not have to worry about working tomorrow or forever. But when you're being offered that much money, you don't need that much money. You couldn't spend it. Now, fair enough. If you get that money and you put a lot back into various things, a lot of footballers, Mane, Dier, Drogba, put money back into the countries where they were born and building things. So if you do that, fine. But you don't need that much money to live. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, and you say fair play to Mbappe, fair play to Heung-min Son as well.
Yeah.
He turned it down because he like playing in the Premier League. So it's. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have loads and loads of money. Of course, I would. But there's only so much you can spend. You know,
and then you've got Jordan Henderson, who I've lost a lot of respect for him.
Well, yeah, exactly. He goes on about
just was everything he said in the past just PR.
Yeah,
I believe all of this until someone gives me 700 grand, and just Steven Gerrard as well. He's not a good manager. Let's just go to Qatar where I don't have to be a good manager. So, it's worrying that all these players, not so much like Mane's and stuff like that, and to an extent Jordan Henderson, who have come into the twilight of their career, but people like Ruben Neves who are in their 20s. It happened with Oscar, didn't it, at Chelsea when he went to China, and then that got quashed fairly quickly because of the wage cap. Whether that will happen with Saudi Arabia, I'm not sure, but
I don't think it'll be that successful. I mean, the Chinese league, I could even name one team in that.
No, there's no competition, are there?
No.
You look at the Premier League.
Yeah,
top team and the bottom team can easily spring a surprise.
Where the Americans tried it, didn't they? Back in the 70s, the Americans tried it in New York Cosmos and that sort of thing, and now the Saudis are trying it. So I don't think it's going to.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it gets quashed. But last thing before we head off, the dreaded predictions for next season. For me, it could be anything. we could have Andrew sorts our defence out. We could have Andrew has a brand new defence. We could have a 4-4 every game because we're scoring goals and conceding goals. We could be conceding more goals than we're letting in, and it's like Aussie, and we're finishing in 15. I have no idea what will happen. I think Aston Villa could be a surprise package. They've bought very shrewdly, but they do play with that really high line, and at some point teams are going to work that out. Arsenal, I don't think, will be as near to City or whoever wins the league as they were this season, but I'd expect them to get in the Champions League again. Manchester United, that striker that they're getting, he could be a Haaland, he could be an AD Akinfenwa, he could Akinbaye, sorry, not Akinfenwa. I do apologise. I quite liked him. It could be an AD Akinbaye. It could be a complete flop. It's very difficult to tell, but
yeah.
Surprise packages for next season, and how do you think Spurs will do?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very competitive league. Certainly for the places, say, past second or third. I think it'd be very competitive for those European slots. I think Man City. I mean, you can't look past them for winning the title. Arsenal could be one of two things. I was watching an interview with one of their players. I can't remember who it was now, and he was saying that they got nervous when they got near the end of the season. They got nervous. And Man City had been there, done that, and that's where they lost the league. And he said, "We'll know next time." It could work that way, but it could also work the other way, and they could get a second place hangover. So who knows? Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool. I think there's so many teams that could do well next season.
Yeah.
As for Tottenham, well, what I said earlier, I think. If we finish mid-table, that wouldn't surprise me. But then if we finish in top 6, it wouldn't surprise me. So I think top 6 is probably the best we can hope for league-wise. But if we get a decent draw in any of the cups, then, we could have a cup run. We all remember what happened to, I think it was Chelsea when they didn't have any sort of our European competitions playing. They won the title. I'm not saying we're going to win the title. Of course I'm not.
They won the FA Cup as well, didn't they?
Yeah. So it could work in our favour. But I still think we're going to have to give it a lot of time and just not get carried away. I'm confident that eventually we'll do well. But yeah, I'm not getting carried away by it. It'll be fun, put it that way.
Yeah.
It'll be lots of fun. And I think we'll have some games where we thought, wow, we put 4 past Chelsea today. But we could also have some games where, oh shit, West Ham put 4 passes. So I think it's going to be one of those sort of seasons. It's going to be ups and downs. The usual Tottenham roller coaster.
Yeah, I just hope fans don't expect us to be winning the league and stuff, and then turn on Postecoglou as soon as a bad result happens. Because I think anyone who expects us to get into the top 4, I think, is dreaming this season. Unless somehow in the next week we buy 2 top centre backs, keep Kane, he signs a new contract, and then we can really focus. But even then, I don't think top 4 is going to happen.
You know what I really hope happens this season? I hope the atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, still looking for naming rights, by the way. I do hope that the atmosphere is a big improvement of what it's been over the last couple of seasons. Because to be fair, it was only the Arsenal game when we won 3-0 that there's ever been any sort of atmosphere at that stadium.
Well, the Man City game, Bergwijn's first game was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. But I think with the football we're hopefully going to be playing, hopefully the crowd will get behind that. Because let's face it, we fell asleep a lot of time last season. And I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the fans. So
some of them did as well.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we'll have a lot more to get behind the guys this season, and create the atmosphere that ground deserves and can do.
Yeah,
because normally you hear away fans, even at White Hart Lane, you'd always hear the away fans, no matter how big the atmosphere was. I didn't hear a peep out of Arsenal during that game. We were so loud from start to finish that you couldn't hear the Arsenal fans in that game. So I'm hoping that this season we'll see an improved atmosphere. As for naming rights, well, didn't we get some guy who's well known for getting naming rights?
Yeah.
Two seasons ago, was that?
Yeah, I can't remember his name now, but he done well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It was Todd someone, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the season because I think we'll be attacking and we'll be entertained. But I'm looking forward to it, but not expecting much. If you can have a cup run, I'd love a cup run and to win a cup. But I feel Levy will still think top 4 is the be-all or end-all, so focus on that. But there's no excuse to focus solely on that because there aren't games 2 games in a week because there's no Europe. So we can easily focus on the league and a cup if we get a good run. But I'm not expecting much. But apart from to be entertained, I think James Maddison could have a huge.
Well, the thing is with the cup runs is with no Europe. The cup runs, you could quite get away with playing your first team all the time, whereas before you'd have to rotate and rest players. I don't think we need to. I'm sure it will happen, but we can actually play our first. And I think Angel want to win cup games.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he wants to win stuff.
But I just want a bare minimum 1 top centre back in, ideally 2. Normally, a month ago, I'd have said keep Kane, but now just sort the Kane stuff out. If he goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays. Just get it sorted out. Don't let it drag on all the way through the transfer window and into the first however many games it is until the transfer window closes. Don't sell him last second like we did with Berbatov. At least give Ange time to got rid of him. This is what I want.
And to be fair to Ange, he's always said, I don't think about what's going to happen. I deal with what is happening.
Yeah.
So if Kane does go, he'll deal with that. If Kane stays, he'll deal with that. He won't think, I've got a plan for Kane not being here. He'll deal with things as they happen.
Yeah. I'd be angry on his behalf, Ange's behalf, if he had to deal with it with 2 minutes left of the window because that's
yeah.
You might as well not bother employing a manager in that. But anyway, that's for another show because obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about in the next month with transfers and Kane's situation and the defence and everything like that. And there'll be a lot more to talk about next week as well, I'm sure. But yeah,
well, I'll be able if I'm on next week, I'll be able to talk about the Tottenham game because I'll be watching it. So
yes. Well, hopefully, should have Brian on that one. Hopefully on Friday's show. Normally I do just me because I'm on lunch, but I'm going to try and have like one guest on. Hopefully, should be Harry Scarf from Scarfy Talks. I can't remember his channel now, Spurs Talk or something like that. That's terrible, isn't it? He's coming on and I can't remember his show. But yeah, hopefully he'll be on Friday. Had him on once before. Brilliant guest, as is everyone. Brian, Tottenham on Tour, check them out. Jens, RVTV, and Brad, Blue Sofa Songs. What can people expect on there?
Right, well, yes, I write my own songs. I play all the instruments, record them, do crazy videos sometimes, and they go out at the moment, because I'm working every fourth Friday of the month. There's one out there now, which is called it's called Comfort Zone, which is about Comfort Zone, obviously, but there's lots of stuff on there. If you do check them out, check out the DAW songs, which is songs I've actually recorded using recording equipment. But yeah, they're on Blue Sofa Songs, and it'd be great if you could check them out. Like, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things, and also like, share, subscribe all the other channels that have been on tonight, and also Chris's Magic, which I always try and work out how he does it. I never have done yet, so that's why I always watch
tutorials.
Yeah.
I've moved into that area.
I'm getting better at thinking, because of tutorials of it. But it's good stuff. It's good stuff, and just shows you that with Magic Tricks, with me writing songs, there is more out there than football. So don't let football get you down too much. There's other things that can get you excited, and music excites me. So yeah, Blue Sofa Songs, check it out.
Yeah, it's a brilliant channel, as are Tottenham on Tour and RVTV. And not banging my own trumpet, Chris's Magic is fairly good, so check that out as well. And please hit the like, subscribe on here, hit the notification bell if you haven't done those already. Thanks to everybody who's been in the comments, added comments and questions. Really do appreciate it, and everyone who's hit the like. It'll be on audio this evening. Give us about an hour, and then that should be available on wherever you get your podcasts as well, so you can listen to us rambling and moaning away while you're driving to work. And be back on Friday, hopefully with Harry talking about, I'm sure there'll be movement with transfers and Kane and everything like that, and looking ahead to the Shakhtar game. But yeah, until then, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
See, renewed optimism because we've got Ange. How long until it's come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks so much for watching. For everybody who joined in the live chat and added comments, before you go, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, please hit that notification bell. That'll give you a notification every time we're about to go live, and it's all completely free. For those who missed the live show, you can catch this whenever you want on Let's Talk Tottenham's YouTube channel. Please also hit the like, subscribe and notification bell, and everybody please leave feedback, comments, suggestions in the comments section on the YouTube videos. For those of you who listen to the audio podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anyone who wants that audio podcast, you can pick that up wherever you get your podcast from. We're back Mondays 7:30pm UK time and Fridays 12:30pm UK time. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter @LTalkTottenham, Instagram Let's Talk Tottenham Podcast, you can find all the information there. Anyone who wants something a little bit different, also do a magic show. So I do one trick a week, which drops Wednesday 7:30pm UK time. Chris's Magic on YouTube is where you'll find that. But in the meantime,